Coming up on a special edition of Cannabis Coast to Coast News this week from Las Vegas, Nevada. It's all about MJBizCon, the world's largest cannabis trade show. Along with the biggest names and the biggest businesses in the business, it's the biggest joints on display. This is the 13th annual MJBizCon on Cannabis Coast to Coast News. Hi everybody, welcome to the Cannabis Coast to Coast special report, MJBizCon, on location in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm Jimmy Young, the founder of Cannabis Media and the producer of Cannabis Coast to Coast. I suppose the resume goes on a little bit longer than that because I'm a freaking old guy, but we have some great interviews for you from the floor of MJBizCon over the last week here in Las Vegas. This is the largest cannabis trade show in the world. Okay, vendors from all over the world come here and either set up shop in the expo or take out a suite in a hotel and have parties and meetings, and it's an amazing get together by the entire industry. And we all know what we report on every week about the industry. We're in transition. You have a new government in place. We have no idea who's going to be pro-cannabis and who's not. There we go. There's some people. Honest to God, I thought that was a dog behind me. Anyway, it's all good. We have some great stuff ahead of you. You're going to enjoy it. And I promise, at the end of this show, I did something here in Las Vegas. You know how they say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas? Well, it was great because I got to go to a cannabis social club and turn back the clock about 40 odd years in my 20s, let's just say. It was a great experience, legal experience, dabs on the menu. Anyway, we had a great time. Stay tuned, don't go away, because you will see me do a report under the influence, something I don't like to do. But, okay, wait a second, it's closing.
And it's 4:20.
It's 4:20, oh my God!
Hi, everyone. Welcome to a Cannabis Coast to Coast News special report. I'm Elena Pinto. Every week, usually on Mondays, PCM TV Productions releases a weekly news report featuring our group of 15 correspondents who share what's going on in the industry in their states, from Washington, Oregon, and California on the West Coast to Virginia, New Jersey, and Washington, D.C., plus more. And this week, many were in Las Vegas, Nevada for the 13th annual MJBizCon at the Convention Center. After being on the disabled list for 2 years, PCM TV founder Jimmy Young returned. So Jimmy, here he is. How was your trip? What were your impressions? Tell me everything.
I think I lost my voice. No, I'm here. I'm here. But it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. You know, people describe this industry as fascinating. And this major cannabis trade show, the biggest in the world, MJBizCon, 13 years of it now, it lives up to its billing. It's pretty much overwhelming. There's so many people there, so many things to do. It's spread out, and people go to Las Vegas now just to be in the same town as the trade show and not go to the trade show, just go to the parties or go to the networking events or go to separate meetings that they set up. So it's really a adult playground kind of takeover, if you will, of Las Vegas. And I'll tell you what is the biggest impression I had, and I was using this as I was chatting with people. I'm like, there are more hugs per minute in this trade show than any other trade show that I've ever been for. People care about each other. They care about the cause. They care about the plant. I mean, it's pretty amazing. And then when you look at the docket of speakers, from entrepreneurs to professional athletes to researchers and scientists and growers and botanists and business people, I mean, it is unbelievable. There's always something for someone. And of course, the industry right now, as you probably know, is holding their breath, a little concerned about what might happen with this new administration in the White House and in Congress, and nobody seems to know. Let's just say the money is not flowing yet, but I think once these perhaps new regulations and new realities set in, everything will be just fine. Now, every year, MJBizCon delivers on its goal of running the largest trade show for cannabis in the world. With 30,000 attendees, just over 2,000 vendors, and dozens of breakout panels being surrounded by like-minded advocates, entrepreneurs, and consumers drives the galvanization and the commitment in all of us. When I talked to MJBizCon's senior VP, Emily Lewis, a few weeks ago, she suggested everyone should have a plan. Now, anyone who knows me personally, planning is probably not my strength, Elena. Is that accurate?
It's pretty good, but there's always a but. Yeah.
That's right. But we did have a plan for this special wrap-up show to produce. And during the next hour or so, we're going to be joined by various members of the news team who did interviews. And I, of course, got to do a lot of interviews as well. And I'm very, very excited. And I'll also share two very rare public appearances by moi on camera under the influence. Okay. Because I got to go to the Planet 13 Cannabis Social Consumption Lounge. Okay.
Fun.
And it was an amazing, Elena, it was an amazing experience. I just don't understand how Massachusetts, where we both are, okay, can't figure out how to do what they're doing in Vegas, because it's absolutely, it's a no-brainer to me. It really is. They have a menu, right? I mean, they have a whole bunch of stuff, and they'll let you dab, do bong hits. There's no alcohol inside. There's no food inside, which is something that I'd kind of like to see changed or adapted. But you know what? That's okay. I got to do it. And for someone who grew up in the 60s and 70s, as you can imagine, it was really amazing to be able to be served cannabis at your table, right? I mean, how cool is that, right? And you know what they say about Vegas? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So let's just say I did a lot of dabbing. For the more dabbing than I've ever done in my life that one night. And I still lived to tell the story, Elena.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's what they say. I know. I wish I could make it out there sometime, but I am looking forward to the story at the end of the show. I know it's going to be a good one, but I have to know, Jimmy, just how high were you?
Is that a standard question for you? Because at the David Ortiz press conference in Boston announcing that he was getting into the cannabis industry, you asked Big Poppy, are you high right now? I just thought that was still one of my favorite Elena Pinto stories.
You have to know, right? We were all wondering it. So,
all right. Yeah. All right. So yes, 13 dabs. I stopped counting after that.
Wow.
But still sat down and did an interview with a guy who's selling the Yellow Labs product that I now represent. He happens to be a sales guy from Ohio. I saw that he had Benna Leaves on his jacket, and I said, isn't that in Ohio? And I said, yeah. And he goes, do you know the Yellow Labs product? He goes, of course I do. What do you mean? Of course you do. No, I sell it. I know all about it. I said, do you know Andrew Wensberg? And they, yeah. And I went, how in the world did we meet at a cannabis social club in the middle of Las Vegas? I mean, that is why I am so pumped about 2025. Because everything seems to be coming together, and I'm certainly excited about that. And Elena, I just want to see what we're doing get noticed by more people.
Yeah,
because we continue to document the fight to end cannabis prohibition every week with the production of Cannabis Coast to Coast News with Elena Pinto. And I tell you, when I share and I talk about you a lot at these conferences, I'll admit it, okay? And it's because I admire you, I respect you, and I love what you've done for us.
Oh my gosh, no, Jimmy, I just show up every day and read what you write. I learn and that's what everybody's doing. Everybody comes and they learn from the show, and I learn too when I read it. You are the brains behind everything. So I'm so glad you got to go to this conference and meet everybody.
It was 2 years that I was on the DL, and now I'm not.
It's really cool how much of a team player you are. So let's start off with your conversation with Matt Melander, the president of Sun Theory, a private equity strategy and investment company out of Denver that is dedicated to the best cannabis. That includes operations, products, distribution, and innovation. Their brands include Dialed In, those are gummies, Roots Dispensary with 6 locations in Colorado ski towns, and Evergreen Cultivation and Processing Operations. So here's Jimmy and Matt.
Well, welcome back to the Cannabis Coast to Coast special report, a wrap-up from MJBizCon. I'm PCM TV founder Jimmy Young, and I'm so happy to be joined here in the press room, the media room at MJBizCon in Las Vegas that is being run by one of Boston's finest PR people. Her name's Tess Woods, and she's been in every one of these MJBizCon events. But that's not who I'm talking to. I'm talking to Matt Melander from Sun Theory, and he is, believe it or not, from Massachusetts. What's up with that? I had to go all the way to Las Vegas to hang out with a guy who likes sports.
Hell yeah, man. That's what we got to do.
That's what you got to do. Tell me about Sun Theory, please. What do you do? What is your interest? And how does your company differentiate itself from others?
Yeah, so Sun Theory is a private equity strategy based in Denver, Colorado. We're actually moving our headquarters to Austin, Texas. We've been in the industry since 2016, acquiring EBITDA positive assets. And really, at the end of the day, we believe that the value of this industry is going to accrete to the brand. So we're building a pretty robust brand portfolio as we speak.
Would a television produced show that was perhaps, I don't know, reviewing brands, and turning it into like a QVC program for brands, would that be something that might be an interesting thing?
I mean, potentially. You know, some of the DTC channels that are available through the hemp industry are certainly something we explore, but currently we're purely focused in the adult use space.
Let's talk about adult use, shall we? Because you use the right term. I am not one who likes the term recreational. I don't believe, by the way, you could get high from Robitussin, use it recreationally, and you have to show your ID just to get it out of CVS and Walgreens. It's an adult use product, right? It's not recreational.
Correct.
And that is one of the things we preach a lot here. But Matt, you know the trends in the industry. You mentioned hemp. I'm certainly more supportive of the licensed, regulated side of things in the industry. I have a theory that when the government passed that farm bill in 2018 and legalized the cannabis sativa plant, they knew exactly what they were doing, because they are doing everything they can to make it as difficult as possible to survive in this industry. It is overregulated, it's overtaxed, it's unfair. And what did they do with hemp? They gave people an opportunity to cut the corner and create products that get you high. Does that make any sense? Can you help me understand that?
I mean, I fundamentally actually disagree.
Good, I love it. Please.
I believe when the Farm Bill was released that what some call a loophole was actually a calculated effort to create free and open commerce. At the end of the day, we are a capitalistic society, and there are some states, my home in Massachusetts, highly regulated, very liberal, wants to control and tax things the way they want to do. There are other places in the country, specifically the Southeast, that have been very pro-hemp, but those are traditionally conservative places that don't want to take this issue on. So we created a chance for those consumers to also have access to this plant. So like it or hate it, to me, it's all about creating safe standards and product manufacturing standards. And that's what we at Sun Theory really want to do, is create a uniform understanding of what product safety and soundness really should look like. And at that point, you know, the three-tier system in alcohol has been around for 100 years. It's been really successful at keeping an age-gated product, and moreover, it creates tax receipts. And at the end of the day, the government wants tax receipts.
And I'm all in favor of creating a fair, regulated industry for both sides of the plant. One industry for both sides of the plant. Well, I appreciate it is one plant. You're right. That's why he's in private equity, by the way, and I'm on, media hound, whatever I am. This is great conversation. I want to go back to that plant, because the soul of this industry cares about the plant. It's a living thing. Absolutely. It drives a lot of the entrepreneurial spirit. It drives a lot of the engagement. The pressure to scale in a emerging industry like this. There's a lot of pressure on a lot of the investments that happen to have that quick return on investment. You're smiling because you know that's what you have to deal with.
Well, I'd say there's two ways to run investments. There's building them to run them for the long term, and there's building them to sell. And what we saw in this industry was an over leverage and an overabundance on the commodity side, where the most capital intensive part of this industry is cultivation. At the end of the day, the plant's an ingredient in most of these finished goods. That's what got many of our predecessors over their skis, riddled with debt and an inability to kind of climb their way out. that's the challenge. To us at Sun Theory, as I said, we buy EBITDA positive businesses. We build these things to scale and run for the long term. Our investors their returns are not predicated on an exit. So our philosophy is if you buy great companies at really fair value and you know how to operate them, you're going to have the long-term success that you desire.
But how would you like to see the industry be regulated at the federal level? Where do you think, I'm not a big fan of straight Schedule 3 rescheduling because that opens the door for a lot of pharmaceutical money to come in, control, and try and treat this plant like every other drug that they produce. It's not like that. You can't do that with this plant. And I don't know if we're not ready. I'm not sure we're going to ever see that.
So my take on it is the deschedule, reschedule conversation. For me, it's more about research, and we need to open up the research gates. You've got a very unique circumstance where for the first time in 100 years, you've got an intoxicant that can be sold in open commerce, but moreover, you've got some 200 plus cannabinoids, many of which have real bona fide health benefits. We need to understand exactly what is capable of this plant. To me, the pharmaceutical industry, I'm not sure they're super interested. The size of the totality of the cannabis industry, to Bo Whitney's report last year, some $58 billion. You can look at many of these indications that these pharma companies take on. They'll have 2 drugs that do more than that on an annualized basis. So there's a lot of white space for operators like ourselves to focus and continue to run.
I don't go that way. I say it's a big pie. Can we find a fair slice for everybody? Because it's a huge industry, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I think we're just scratching the surface, right? I mean, we're here to talk about the intoxicating cannabinoid space, but we've got industrial practices that are fabulous. We've got feed sources that are fabulous. I mean, when you take this and you break it down to the true component parts, it's a plant whose time has come, and I really believe it'll be a $100 billion industry once we actually get to the maturation cycle.
Love that. I think that's a great way to end this a little bit, because I think I could probably talk with you for at least another 20, if not an hour, okay? But I so appreciate it. How do people get in touch with you if you want them to? And where can they find you online, on LinkedIn, all that stuff? Yeah,
Matt Melander is my name. So LinkedIn is easy. My email is matt.melander@suntheory.co. I'm happy to chat with anybody. We're constantly on offense trying to acquire innovative, new, and exciting companies.
I may have one for you. No, I'm only kidding. All right, that's Matt Melander from Sun Theory. I'm Jimmy Young from YPA. I said it. This is my old company. PCM TV. We have an app. Make sure you download it, like, share, and subscribe. And we're going to have more of this special after this.
We are Pro Cannabis Media.
I think I messed up. Did you know there's a place that covers all the cannabis news you need? Welcome to Pro Cannabis Media, your go-to for all things cannabis. PCM is the CNBC of weed, bringing you the latest news and talk shows with a twist. We've got 16 state correspondents and multimedia journalists from around the US and Canada.
Hey everybody, it's Brandon Jones with Big Green Distribution with the Missouri Cannabis Report.
I'm Karen Black from Greenfinger Consulting with the Arizona Cannabis Report.
I'm Amy Carter from Michigan Weedsters.
Andrew Behringer here reporting from Washington, D.C.
Debbie Fazy with the Canadian Toke of the Week.
It all started back in 2018 when founder Jimmy Young kicked off the In the Weeds podcast. His mission? Documenting the fight to end cannabis prohibition. Fast forward to today and we've got Cannabis Coast to Coast with Elena Pinto, delivering the nation's only TV-style cannabis news show.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Cannabis Coast to Coast, PCM TV's weekly roundup of industry news from California to New York. I'm Elena Pinto.
As of August 2024, PCM has racked up over 1.2 million views and 14.5 million impressions on our YouTube channel. With 15,000 subscribers and growing, our reach is spreading like wildfire. PCM's website, YouTube, Rumble, Discord, Roku, Twitch, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and even our very own PCM TV app. Get your cannabis news fix with Pro Cannabis Media. We're here to keep you informed and entertained. Stay tuned and stay lifted.
One news note to share during this live recap: the DEA held its rescheduling hearing this past week in Washington, D.C. The NCIA's Aaron Smith was one of the qualified industry supporters who spoke at the hearing in D.C. He then hopped on a flight to Las Vegas to appear on a panel at MJBizCon. And there, he ran into Jimmy Young and told him that he thought the DEA judge conducted a very balanced, fair hearing, despite the prohibitionist slant of presenters. Jimmy and Aaron will be talking again this week, and we will have that for you on next week's Cannabis Coast to Coast News Show. We continue with our special recap of this year's MJ Biz Convention in Las Vegas.
Hey, we're back here at the MJBizCon on the floor of the world's largest cannabis trade show. I'm PCM TV founder Jimmy Young, and yeah, I'm a little left over this morning. I'll admit it. It's okay. I found some great people to talk to right off the bat, thanks to our friends at the Maverick PR Group. And his name is Alex Boone from Botani.
Yes, got it right. Yeah, good.
The third time.
The third time you got it right. That's right.
It's all right. Third time's the charm. All right, so tell us, here's your elevator pitch. What is Botani?
Yeah, so Botani is the cannabis market brand of SWM International. We've been in paper making for over 400 years. Got a long history of being in the industry, especially through our rolling paper division. Botani is a formation from about 3 or 4 years ago, once the hemp farm bill came through in 2019, where we could take... 2018.
Trust me, it was a big day. It was a big day. December, I think 7th or 6th or something in 2018. And
you're right.
It's history.
Officially for us, it was January 2nd, which was a Monday, is when we said, okay, let's go. Okay.
Good day, too.
That's right. That's a good day, too. So taking our technology and working in the tobacco world for many years and using that with hemp. So taking hemp products and making them to usable products for the cannabis industry, such as blunts, wraps, pre-roll, cones, those types of things.
Cone thing, I don't get it. You know, I'm a child of the 60s. I still know how to roll a joint. I know that's a shock to many out there. But packing the cone, it's just another activity. And you notice that pre-rolls are the fastest growing thing in a dispensary. People come in, they buy 1 pre-roll, 2, 5, whatever. It's pre-roll, right? Because humans are basically lazy. I'm sorry, it's true.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. There's a level of convenience, yet at the same time, pre-rolls can give you that level of consistency that you're looking for and that customers are looking for. And I think that's where someone like our company comes in, because we've been in the world of tobacco and cigarette manufacturing. We understand rules and regulations of scale and bringing solutions to those pre-roll converters who want to make products that are consistent every time, so you can get return sales.
We know consistency is so important. Everything relates back to sports with me. I was a coach, and you want consistent performance out of your players. You want to put them in positions to win the game, right? And the same thing happens in business, even though I'm a horrible businessman. Okay, you guys are adapting what is your expertise to a brand new emerging market, and as you know, it's doing okay. But the regulations, it's such a challenge to be in this industry for people from whatever place you're in. There's a regulation, there's a tax, there's a law, there's control.
Correct.
Are you confident that we're ever going to get a single regulatory body for this plant, no matter if it is hemp or Delta-9 THC?
That's a tough question.
I do that, by the way. I teach it. I do that. But and again, there's no right or wrong here. No. It's your insight on what you know of this industry.
So my insight is that this will work better for everyone with the federal oversight, period. And I know people don't like regulation. However, if you do have something that gives oversight where the playing field is equal.
Another sports analogy, ladies and gentlemen.
We're equal with a set of rules that everyone knows and can play with, then everyone can thrive and thrive appropriately. Right now, it's this state, that state, this state, that state. People are, at best, having trouble just in regular distribution. I'll give hemp as an example. Hemp seems to be more problematic than cannabis, THC-based cannabis, because of no different regulations. There's no federal oversight for it at the moment.
There wasn't federal due diligence on what they were doing in the 2018 Farm Bill, and that's what pisses me, pardon me, but that's what pisses me off. Do your damn job. You're an elected official. You've agreed to be a public figure. Do it. Represent your people. Don't line your pockets with lobby money. And I'm sorry, I know that there are big lobbies in America. It's how our political system works. And whether people like it or not, it's still supposedly the best in the world. Mm-hmm. And I give companies like yours credit for stepping back, looking at the whole picture, and saying, you know what, for our background with these products that, you know, your international company, your paper company, right? Tobacco, whatever. We can adapt this into the hemp world, and I applaud the fact that you understand there's more applications, and the hemp world should be 10 times the size of the cannabis, medicinal and
it's not. So you know, there's a level of patience that has to be had.
Parent.
I am a parent, so you have to have a level of patience. I've got grown children now, so that's okay. But yes, the level of patience that you have to have. You got to have the national distribution. You got to be able to do that. And without it, it's problematic. These young fledgling companies that have limited budgets, they can't be in every single state doing everything, replicating everything from an operational perspective. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. And to have different packaging labels and everything that you have to have, they want one SKU to go nationwide. Why does it have to be so difficult?
Is the experience of I'm going to throw them all together here, big alcohol, big tobacco, even big pharma, with working with these kinds of products, figuring out the ways to regulate them fairly. I want a fair system so that the industry can thrive, not just survive.
Yeah, so I would agree with that. So working together with the component suppliers, what can I do, me as a paper supplier? What can the equipment guy do as a supplier? What can the grower do? Getting all of those guys together to understand what is doable to make business work properly, that's what needs to happen. We've seen that success in the tobacco side. I know tobacco can kind of be taboo, but from a rules and regulations perspective, on the grounds that we have to play in, we all know how to play, and we play together, and we work it out. And in the end, the consumer wins. And that's what we want, is the consumer to win.
You know, tested products and control, and like you said, a level playing field to work within those parameters, similar to parenting, right? You have to set parameters for your kids. It's not easy, is it? Hey, by the way, much easier being in your business than being a parent, am I right?
I would say that. The cab ride over, my cabbie got a call from the school. A 10-year-old was having his problem. I said, I've been there, buddy. So, anyway.
And these days, I don't want to get calls from the schools where my kids are at, let's just say, during the day. No, we do, and I brought up the parenting thing. So here's a question for you, and I think I already know what I think you might say, but I want to ask it anyway. I ask this of a lot of people I interview that know what's going on in this industry, know how our government works. Which of the biggies do you think will eventually be most involved in the cannabis space? And by that I mean, is it big tobacco? Is it big alcohol? Is it big pharma? And we all know we don't want big government. So how do we manage that?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be big pharma. That's just me personally.
Even if it goes to Schedule 3, because everybody's talking about it going to Schedule 3 and big pharma. Let me tell you, there's some fear in this industry.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm not that close to it on that side of the business for me to comment appropriately. But if I look at it from a consumer product perspective and how things are manufactured, I think the rules from the big tobacco and big alcohol will be the ones that allow this industry to thrive a little bit more. Yes, I know mom and pops don't want that to take over, so to speak, from that perspective. However, you need leadership like that because the governments are used to the big leadership that occurs in working together to make it happen. If they can suddenly say, hey, this is the way we can make it happen, then likely this big government is going to say, okay, let's do it that way. I mean, and that's just a personal opinion of mine. I believe that it may work, but let's see. Let's see.
I appreciate your expertise in sharing your personal opinion as opposed to being the spokesperson for your company, but you're doing a great job at too.
I appreciate that.
So what's the future like for you? What would be the best thing to happen to Botani right now?
So right now, would love to see the political arena, like we just talked about for the past 10 minutes, to have the level playing field. We need that for our customers. We need hemp to work properly so that people can have choices. I'd like to see some level of consistency on pre-rolls. I would like to get an adoption of rules on that. I do believe there's a big space to have tobacco replacements within the cannabis industry, and to those people who are used to smoking cigarettes, that there is an option for people to smoke cannabis in a similar fashion, similar way. Is it next week? Is it next year? No. But I will see that as something as a game changer for this industry. From my perspective, being in our historical of paper making more towards tobacco and the rest of the world. So.
And what would be a lasting thing you'd like our audience to actually know about your company that I perhaps haven't,
Sure. So, Botani, we were on the principle that customers wanted something that's natural. This industry doesn't want they want grassroots stuff. It's from the plant. We want to provide a product that's from the plant, and that is just that without a lot of additives. Something is a natural way to give something that's different to everyone. And this is what we've been able to present. Taking our roots and our heritage and have a right to play with a different botanical will allow to experience the same things. And that's what we wanted, because we didn't feel that there was a lot of natural type options out there. Now we believe that there's something there for brand owners to have.
Fantastic. He's Alex Boone. He's the managing director of Botani, and I so appreciate you taking some time out on this. Oh, what day is it?
It's Thursday.
Is it really? What happened to Wednesday?
Yeah. It's part of your leftover.
That's
so
my
leftover. Still in Wednesday.
Oh, yeah. I guess I supposedly am. Thanks, Dad. All right. Hey, we're going to have more of our special Cannabis Coast to Coast news on location at MJBizCon. Don't go away.
Ready to take your craft to the next level? Imagine faster extractions, purer products, and more profits. Sounds good, right? At Pure 5 Extraction, we've revolutionized cannabis extraction with our game-changing technology. No solvents, no heat, just the cleanest, most natural process on the market. Whether you're a boutique grower or a large-scale operation, Pure 5 has the tools to elevate your business worldwide. Visit pure5extraction.com today. Pure 5 Extraction, because your plants deserve the best.
In serene Springfield, Ohio, Ethan battles anxiety and persistent body pain. Seeking relief, he turns to Yellow Labs' Calm THC cream, offering tranquility via delivery technology. Massaging in the cream, Ethan feels waves of peace and serenity easing his anxiety and tension. Empowered by the remarkable relief, he sets out on a journey towards healing and renewal. Drawn to Yellow Labs' transformative offerings, the Calm THC cream becomes a beacon of comfort, soothing both his physical and emotional pain.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Cannabis Coast to Coast News special report from the floor of MJBizCon, the world's largest cannabis convention. I am PCM TV founder Jimmy Young, and I remembered who I am and what I was the founder of. So I want to mention that I'm also here to talk with some pretty cool people, and I got one sitting right next to me now. His name is Max Van Sluis, and he is with, well, hang on a second, Dialed In Gummies. And of course, my question is, what makes your gummies so special, Max?
Absolutely, Jimmy. So, number one, we are a rosin-based edible, rosin only for our gummies, and we always have been that way.
And explain why that gives you an edge. Why is it? What is rosin? Because as I mentioned a little earlier, to me, I'm an old sports guy. There's a rosin bag at the back of the mound of every pitcher in Major League Baseball, but that's not the product that you guys are. It's a concentrate from the plant, which we all know is a female plant, which is another thing. I love to educate people about this industry because it's fascinating.
It really is. Yeah, rosin is the cleanest, purest form of concentrate that you can ingest or inhale, depending on the type of way that you're consuming this. The way that you generally make rosin, or it's not general, the way that you make rosin is with water, ice, heat, and pressure. Therefore, there are no solvents in the process, and you are getting the truest form of those cannabinoids and terpenes off of the plant in the end process. And therefore, that's what makes our gummies so special in comparison to a lot of other live resin or distillate gummies that are in the market, because you are getting the presence of the true cannabinoids, the minors and the THC, as well as all the terpenes that are present, which gives you that full spectrum high that is very, has become very loved.
Desired.
Yeah,
that's a good desired. And I love the way you use the word consumption instead of use. I just read a great book about the wording of cannabis and marijuana. It's a fantastic book. Anyway, Max, this industry, as you know, we've had if you step back and look at the whole thing, it's been a market correction over the last few years. The government has decided to slow down the green rush, and I don't want to get into politics because it's just not a good time for politics. What do you think? Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Fair enough. Anyway, I'm a one-issue voter, just for the record, and it's not my wallet or pocketbook, and most of all, my friends know that, let's just say. All right. Max, what do you think is the future of this industry? What role will the gummies play? What role will the resin, by the way, resin or rosin?
Rosin.
Rosin as opposed to resin. No, it's a rosin bag. It's the same pronunciation.
Well, for the bag it is, yeah, and then for ours it is rosin.
And I know the rosin vapes are very desirable too.
They can't keep them on shelves right now. They really cannot.
Can we talk a little bit about the consumer who walks into a dispensary? And of course, I too have walked in a few dispensaries in my lifetime, including the first one I went to in 2013 when I got my medical card in Massachusetts. And I said the first things I said to the bud tender, of course, were, look, I'm X years old. Everybody knows I'm 67, okay? But then I wasn't, because it was 11 years ago. And I said, I'm not sure I want to smoke it anymore, not sure I want to vape it. What other options do I have, et cetera, et cetera. And I walked out of there with your gummies and your vapes and your edibles and capsules. And I found fault in every single one of those products. But let's leave that alone for a second. Okay. How can you distinguish your product from other gummies in this space that use rosin? What is it? You've kind of explained the process, but to me, when you go and you have so many choices, it's overwhelming, especially for people who, let's just say, aren't as educated and experienced as some of the older people on camera here.
So that's a fantastic question.
The ultimate compliment, by the way, it is.
Yeah, so what we do to differentiate is our quality, the ingredients that we use. And by using those high-end ingredients, we're able to produce a product that has some of the best texture and flavor and mouthfeel. And when you're making a gummy, you would want to think all of those components are something that a product is being thought about. And those are at the forefront of what we think about when we develop our products. At the end of the day, we want to make a great tasting gummy that has cannabis in it, not a cannabis gummy. So there's a big differentiator there. And to answer your other question, I believe the industry is going the route that you were kind of heading towards. And smoking's obviously still a massive factor and probably one of the biggest selling flower is probably one of the biggest sellers at most retail. However,
I'm not going to interrupt them again, I promise. 50% of the market is flower, followed by pre-rolls, followed by edibles.
Yep.
And even the vape world has taken a hit a little bit now.
In certain markets. Right. In certain markets. In some, it's flying. Like in Ohio, vapes, they cannot keep on shelves. They cannot keep gummies on shelves. But still, to your point, Jimmy, flower is around 40 to 50% of revenue at all retail shops. But it used to be 60 or 70 a few years ago. So over time, we are seeing the decline of flower sales because there is a surge in health right now and people being concerned about what is going into their body, how are they consuming whatever this is, whether it's your drinks, your food, your cannabis. And so low sugar options, low dose options, I believe are going to be the future of edibles. And I believe edibles, drinks, gummies all of those are going to be the future of cannabis as time goes on. Flower will always be there, but I do feel that over time we are going to see more of that share.
And it's going to continue to evolve. This is why the industry is so fascinating to me. There's so many elements. There's economy, there's botany, there's science, there's research, there's fun, okay? And you have to balance them all and learn and do research on the product. But we are in the biggest uncontrolled drug trial in history right now, and we're all part of it.
Uncontrolled yet highly regulated, right? It is. The cannabis space is evolving and growing at such a rapid rate right now, but it's so exciting to be here. It really is.
I want to talk to you about interstate commerce. Yeah. Because in the industry, everybody says, we need interstate commerce. We need interstate commerce. You've got a gummy that you can replicate in each state because you have intellectual property that is the recipe, the ingredients, it's the recipe, ingredients that you can replicate in other states, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's how we built it.
So, and you're in it. You're doing it.
Yeah. We are literally expanding into an Ohio market out of Colorado.
And how in the world does this not fall onto our lawmakers to understand that it's going on? Interstate commerce is happening in this industry. They're not getting a piece of it because they don't understand it to this day.
I've said it from time and time again. I'll take interstate commerce over federal legalization because at the end of the day, I'm able to, with federal legalization, we know there's going to be a lot more laws, a lot more things that are going to come into play.
I hope I live to see that day. I don't think we're going to see it as fast as the industry would like to see it.
No. I would agree. But interstate regulations and interstate commerce, I mean, it would be nice to be able to get our gummies into all the legal states that are around Colorado because that opens up a huge market for us. But again, with federal legalization, I have concerns about all the new regulations that will come in. And we are now a pharmacy-grade organization. So, I mean, it would be very interesting to see what would happen if that happens.
I just want the people in control to make a fair regulatory body that'll be equal playing field, that gives the industry a place and a safe product for the public. We want testing. Both sides of the plant, if you will, want testing and regulation.
No doubt.
I just don't, I worry about the money grab and the ego that dictates a lot of our policies and how our government works.
Well,
sorry to get into politics.
No, it's okay. I mean, that's a concern almost in any industry, right? We always hope that government's going to do the right thing.
Right, exactly. Well, hope is the key word here.
And hope's not a plan. I know hope is not a plan, but that's really all we have right now. And to go out and try to make lawmakers make decisions to help the lawmakers understand what they're trying to put into play.
Right. And again, hope can also be, a lot of people can look at hope and wish instead of, we're going to make this happen. We're going to make this work. We're going to educate the masses, and we're going to continue to educate our lawmakers because that's the only way we're ever going to move forward with this, right?
Yeah, well, we have groups like in Colorado, like the Marijuana Industry Group. In Ohio, you've got OCAN. In Missouri, you've got MoCan.
You got the Cleveland School of Cannabis in Ohio. I love Kevin and his group.
Oh, they're fantastic. Our director of operations actually used to teach at the Cleveland School of Cannabis. Nick Halkides has been absolutely fantastic for us in Ohio. And what those organizations are doing for not only the people in the industry, but also to help educate the lawmakers is phenomenal.
So are you, Max. Thank you so much. You have tremendous insight, and I can't wait one day to try his products because I get the whole rosin thing.
Yeah.
Okay? And I can't wait to do it. But Max, thank you so much for spending some time. And we're going to continue with our on-the-floor interviews from MJBizCon in Las Vegas, Nevada after this. Don't go away.
Hi, everybody. Matthew Friedlander coming to you from MJBizCon in Las Vegas. I am the Washington correspondent for Cannabis Coast to Coast News, and I am hanging out down here at Associations Day, the day before the actual conference starts. Associations Day is a gathering of cannabis trade groups from all over the country that are here to network and spread the word about the work that they're doing in their states to create better rules, laws, and regulations for the cannabis industry. I'm here today with the Cannabis Alliance, Washington's largest and most effective cannabis trade group. So I'm going to head back to our booth and continue networking and doing my thing. But that's what I've got for you today from MJBizCon in Las Vegas, reporting for Cannabis Coast to Coast News.
Our Michigan reporter, Amy Carter, was very busy in Las Vegas, appearing on her state's breakout panel and then on a Courage in Cannabis panel with others with compelling stories. If you aren't familiar with that series of books, it's a series of stories about people who have overcome adversity in their lives with cannabis. Dr. Bridget Williams is the curator of the stories, which are now published in 3 volumes. Amy continues to be a powerful advocate for cannabis in her home state of Michigan and one of the founders of the Michigan Weedsters. What you may not have known is that back in 2014, Amy was a guest on the Dr. Phil show, talking about her son Jaden's challenges with autism and her decade-long fight to get him access to his prescribed medicinal cannabis and CBD in school. This past week, she tracked down Josh Kesselman, the CEO of the Raw Rolling Papers Company. That company has a company-wide focus on socially responsible capitalism. They want to set an example for the industry on just how important it is to give to the world what the plant has given back to us. So here is Amy and Josh.
I'm Amy Carter with Michigan Weedsters for this week's Michigan Cannabis Report for Cannabis Coast to Coast News.
Thinking back to when it first started, did you ever think that it would be this much fun?
Absolutely no. I had no clue. When I first started, in a way, actually, I didn't think it would be fun. My goal was to be free. I didn't want to go work to be an accountant or something really boring, selling hours of my life. When I was like 14, I had a job as a stock boy. I was getting paid $3.14 an hour. I remember it. And a big truck showed up that I had to offload by myself. And I was so upset, thinking I would gladly pay somebody else $3.14 an hour to offload that damn truck. Oh my God. So that's when I realized I was selling hours of my life, which I didn't want to do.
Yeah.
So my goal when I first got into this and really got into it in the 90s was freedom. Having fun with it, that just came naturally to me because I was so happy to be free.
Yeah.
I was telling the story yesterday how when I had my stores, I bought an ambulance that I converted to an ambivalence, emotional rescue unit. And I'd drive around town flashing lights, making deliveries just because it was ridiculous. And that way I knew someone was having a party, I'd show up in the ambulance with all the lights on, freak everybody out, and it was so much fun. So it's kind of always been like this. I believe that smoking should be fun.
Yes.
It's something we're doing for enjoyment.
Yes.
Like you find that person out there who's smoking that 2 packs a day, he's not smoking for enjoyment. But our people here, they are smoking for enjoyment.
Yeah.
They're smoking for the medicine. They're smoking for the benefits. If there are any, of course, don't sue me. But we're smoking because we really enjoy it.
Yeah.
And so we are lucky enough to be in this badass industry where people are smoking for good times and good experiences. I can feel it. So can you.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So my next question is, what inspired you to do the fun, creative videos? I'm kind of thinking it's the same reason you did the ambulance.
It is sort of the same thing. Here's what happened to me. I used to try to get other people to do videos for me. And I think it was around 2011, 12, when I realized there were stories I had to tell that no one else could tell. I had to teach them what I believe was the history of rolling papers, going way back, which is actually the history of paper. The history of rolling paper is the history of paper. It really is. So I had to go all the way back into China and this war, this Arab-Chinese war. I went to Morocco. The Moroccans brought it up into Spain. This whole thing. I'm doing this 1-hour video of telling the history of rolling papers, and I was not happy doing it. But when I was done, I realized this is great. This piece of history is now on the internet for people to see, for people to learn from, to make their own takes on it, tell me the parts I got wrong, to do anything. And now it's actually shared, and it felt so relieving and good.
Yeah.
And then I started doing more videos, and I started enjoying them. I started being happy about doing it. Then when I would come up with ideas like how a new way to roll that hadn't been done before, a new tip rolling technique, some way to make it easier. And I was so excited to do it, and so excited to learn this new thing that it just I got happier and happier. Next thing you know, I'm giggling and laughing and dancing around the screen.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I will tell you that I can get caught up watching your videos. Yeah. I mean, I'll spend, quite a lot of time because I'm wondering what the next one is. Oh, that was fun.
That's funny. I know, and then we always think we're at the end, and then we come up with something else. Then it's like, hey, Josh, you haven't done a video in a while, and what are you going to do if you don't have a tip? Like, I haven't done that in a while, have I? And it becomes a series of how to use a rolling paper with a tip, how to take an 8.5 sheet of paper, cut it the right way so you can feel it smooth, cut it, fold it, and make another tip out of it. All this kind of stuff. I got to teach everyone everything before I'm gone. Shit, I got to get this knowledge out there. And
that's awesome.
It's fun.
I
and
love
all the stuff of putting your hands up when you cough. That has saved so many people. So many people thank me for that one. And then imagine this. You're going down the street and some guy comes running up to you across the street and be like, dude, thank you for teaching me about putting your arms up when you start coughing. That has saved my life. And you're like, bro, yes, high five, yeah. Makes you want to do another one.
Yeah.
And another one, and another one.
Yeah.
You sniff the alcohol pads, you don't puke thing. All that kind of stuff has saved so many people from pain. And they get so excited when they tell me about it that it makes me want to do more of them.
Yeah. Well, I think it's what you bring to the community is absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
I am a huge fan, and thank you so much for taking the
You're
time
welcome. Thank
with
you for
me
having me.
today. It was great to meet you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ian Kobe. I'm with HBI International. We are a manufacturer of products within the MYO, RYO market, make your own, roll your own. As far as our actual offerings go, we are the manufacturer and distributor of Elements, Zen, Juicy J's, and of course what I think is the greatest rolling paper in the world, which is Raw. Over the years, the market has really embraced Raw, and we're incredibly grateful for it. Our best-selling products are probably our Raw cones. They've become kind of synonymous within the cannabis industry, and honestly, we want people to be able to put their best in what we think is our best. Now, in addition to being able to cater to what we would consider manufacturing needs, we also want to make sure that the the RYO, MYO Go at Home is able to have an entire offering of products as well, whether it be flat pack papers or tips or individual cones, terpene sprays. Honestly, anything that we don't make that people want, we want to make it because we are incredibly grateful to our consumer base. We wouldn't be here without them. The thing I love about this industry is that there are so many problems to solve, so many puzzles to figure out. One of my favorite ones actually is called the Raw Loader. And the Raw Loader was born of the need to be able to get material from a rolling tray and into a cone. So Josh and I created this device here. And this was born so that... A little bit one-handed, but I can do it with the left. So basically it's to scoop material, the cone slides on the end, and then you can progressively pack your cone. We think it's the quickest, easiest, and perfect way to pack one. Giving back has always been something that is incredibly important to HBI and to Raw. The truth of the matter is we've always been incredibly grateful to our customers, and we want to make sure that we're engaging in some sort of reciprocity and doing the best that we can. In this was conceived about 2 years ago, and it started because one of the things that Josh has seen with pretty much every time is his Raw Smoker Ring. We used to have a giant 20-foot cone in the booth that would smoke and light up. And we just decided, it was time to freshen it up a little bit. So came up with the idea of a hand holding a giant raw cone.
Next up on our special interviews from the conference is Shonda Masia from Woman Grow.
Hey, we're back on the floor of MJBizCon here. We're doing our Cannabis Coast to Coast special news report, a wrap-up of the MJBizCon convention here in Las Vegas, Nevada. They've been doing it for 13 years. You meet some of the most I tell you what, I meet the most smart people I ever meet at these shows. And one of them is a doctor. And she said, "Oh, you don't have to call me doctor." And I said, "You earned that title, did you not, Dr. Chanda Macias?"
Yes.
Said it right. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
She's from Washington, D.C. area, and it says the National Holistic Healthcare Center. We all know that cannabis was put on this earth as a plant medicine by whatever Lord God you believe in. How's that? Did I do that okay?
That's good.
Okay, good. And tell me the role that cannabis has played with your national holistic healthcare system, if you don't mind.
Oh, no, it's what I'm here for. So after studying cancer for over 10 years and really focusing on the power of the plant, I thought it was important that I go back and give to the community what they needed, which was this healing medicine.
That's right. And education about the healing medicine without access to mass media. Yes. I'm so happy to have her here because that's what we want to do, is give a voice to the industry. So I'm going to guess that you're familiar with Rick Simpson oil. Am I right?
Yes, I am. That is one of the first, I would say steps into cancer treatment. But specifically, that is a good step in more of a colon cancer treatment. And I will tell you that when you think about brain cancer, you need high CBD. So what a lot of people don't know is that cannabis and the different contents of our cannabinoids is important to the treatment or the healing properties towards cancer.
And yet we as an industry still have to explain and educate and share anecdotal stories, because we really are in the largest non-controlled clinical trial of a drug in history. Would you agree with that assessment?
Oh, yes. And we all practice that pretty often and to see the healing properties of it. But not only that, I think my grandmother said to me, she was like, this is not, what is that? Is that miracle marijuana you are in? And I'm like, yeah, very much so. It's not medical, it's miracle, because I see miracles happen today all the time with treating the symptoms of different ailments and conditions.
Unbelievable. And what a great thing to go to work every day and feel like you are making a difference in people's health and lives. Because whenever mom and dad used to say, when you have your health, you got everything. And it took me about 60 years to realize that they were right again. You know what I'm saying, right?
I know exactly what you're saying.
What can we do for the National Holistic Healthcare Center to help awareness of what you do?
Well, what's important is that when I started out in the medical cannabis field, I was really just struggling to learn everything as an entrepreneur. See, I had the education, but what I really lacked was the business practical knowledge. And there was a group of women. They're called Women Grow, and there's the largest network of women in the cannabis and hemp industry, and they gave me resources that I could not believe. And so with the resources of Women Grow, I've been able to maintain and have multiple operations in multiple states. So what I could say is important is your community. And I continue and to support Women Grow, and eventually became the CEO of the organization.
God, she's magical. Is this the Buy Weed from Women group? Are they involved with that?
That is one of the vendors. We sell the bags and everything.
That wasn't a competitor and someone that, no.
No, we support women. This is a network of women. So we want to plug women-owned businesses, women-led businesses, and we want to plug our Women Grow Leadership Summit happening in February 17th and 18th.
Oh man, is she good, people, or what? Got the plug-in and everything. Dr. Shonda Macias.
Yes. Yeah, the plug is even more important because we have someone that is going to speak at our conference. Her name is Brittany Griner, and she is the 3-time gold Olympian and world NBA champion.
Does she know that I was an Emmy Award-winning sportscaster and we led our news when she got busted and we followed her for 10 months? No, you don't, but I already have your card in my pocket because I want to make sure we cover that event. Okay, and I think I told you I can get you to Dave Briggs. And of course, if he's watching, he doesn't know that yet, but that's okay because he's a pro. Dr. Shonda, thank you so much for spending a little time with us and telling us a little bit about what you do. I have so much respect.
Thank you so much for your time and all that you do. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much. That's what being in the cannabis industry is all about. And we'll have more from the floor of MJBizCon here in Las Vegas, Nevada after this. Don't go away.
This week, a federal court in Boston, Massachusetts heard arguments that could lead to the end of cannabis prohibition. Massachusetts-based Canna Provisions, Verano Holdings, and Wise Acre Farm never got this lawsuit hearing accepted by the Supreme Court. So they are now trying to get this moved forward through the appeals process. This past summer, an appeals and a few more businesses are challenging the federal prohibition of cannabis based on its constitutionality and the Commerce Clause. We will be covering this over the next few weeks. But before you get your hopes up, there are many reports that this federal appeal will fail and never reach the Supreme Court. Now back to Vegas for MJBizCon. PCMT founder Jimmy Young sat down with Conlon Keller of Bonanza Cannabis, and Jimmy found out fast that his brand has nothing to do with the old black and white TV show he used to watch 60 years ago.
I'm PCM TV founder Jimmy Young on the floor of MJBizCon, and I get to talk to some really interesting people. As we all know, I've done a number of these in this special. Appreciate you tuning in. Remember, after this live streamed special, that obviously is wink wink, is a look live show. We are going to be live and taking, I don't even know if they're called calls, but we're going to have an open forum of anybody who wants to join us, because we're putting the Zoom link out there, and I hope you'll stay tuned for that, because it's going to feature a lot of the people that contribute to our Cannabis Coast to Coast news on a regular basis. But let's talk about Conlon Keller. He's from the Bonanza Cannabis Company, and he's way too young to remember the Bonanza TV show like this guy used to watch in the afternoons on black and white TV sometimes. People don't even realize it was black and white TV, right? Yeah. Conlon, thank you so much for joining us. Tell me about Bonanza Cannabis Company. And guys, we're going to do a little show and tell in a bit, so don't go anywhere. Conlon, tell me about your company.
Yeah, so I'm happy to be here. We are Bonanza Cannabis. We started Bonanza in 2018 in Colorado. We started with vape cartridges. Is really our bread and butter. I'd say that's what we're best known for. But we have a wide variety of edibles, gummies, things like that. And then since then we've expanded into different states. We're in now New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, and we'll be in New York in about a month. So it's just grown organically since we launched, and we're very happy to be here.
Saying something facetiously here. I can't believe there's interstate commerce in cannabis.
Yeah, right? I know. Well, there's not. We set up shop in every state.
Well, no, you're a smart business person, because you can replicate the recipe with the same genetics state to state. It's a bit of a operation to make sure you get the same consistency, right?
Right, absolutely. And that's really our business model. Is we want, when somebody buys a Bonanza cartridge in Colorado and they like that strain, they like those terpene profile, we like them to be able to buy that same product in New Mexico and Nevada, every state, and feel like they're getting that same consistency, that same quality, and we're able to replicate it everywhere we go. And we do that from an operations standpoint as well. So that keeps it simple. We have one process, and we do it very well.
News, and I'm very proud of the fact that I've got 6 reporters here covering this event and contributing to this special, especially when I've got people like you that are so successful. Now, please, let's do our show and tell, shall we?
Yeah, so I'm just going to show you some of our...
Yeah, hang on a second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. Make sure you can see yourself.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Just pretend that, there's a cameraman back there with an audio crew and a lighting company. Yep. It's all about a one-man band multimedia journalism these days. Yep. And I can tell you that as someone who's concerned about budgeting, this is a great way to actually get good quality stuff without $1 million budget.
Right. No,
or even $1,000 budget, let's just say. Yep. Go ahead. Ready? Walk me through these products.
So this is going to be, I'm going to show you one of our 1 gram
By the way,
cartridges.
Okay, is this the real thing?
This is the real thing.
Okay, I want to make sure, because now that I'm a brand ambassador for Yellow Labs, I get to put a plug in for my stuff, okay? I know that when you do a pop-up, you can't bring the product onto the table. They have to be fake products. Right?
Yep.
But this is going to be a show and tell of the real product. But we're not going to consume. We're not going to imbibe. We're not going to titrate.
Right. And so this is what our cartridge looks like. Our 1 gram vape. It's a unique look. It's got a wood tip on it.
Wood tip is unique. I'm not sure I've ever seen that.
Yep. Super high quality. Extremely minimal fail rate on these. We invested a lot of time and money making sure that we had a product that was never going to fail. And especially coming from Colorado with altitude changes and temperature changes, we thought that was important. Our 1 gram carts, definitely our most popular product, but we also do them in half grams. We have an all-in-one, 500 milligram all-in-one. We also have a 4 gram vape. And then in New Mexico, we actually offer a 2 gram vape as well.
All right.
So a wide variety of vape products.
Okay. I want to throw you a curveball. I want you to pick up the pink lemonade gummies you have there. Am I right? Yeah. Okay. And I want a cannabinoid profile of what's in this, because I use a gummy every night. 5 milligrams of THC, 1 milligram of CBN, and I get 5 to 6 hours straight. And as an older person in life, it's changed my sleep pattern.
Okay. Yeah, so this pink lemonade is actually just a standard 10 milligram THC. We do offer what you were saying. We have a sleep gummy as well. Right. It's actually 10 milligrams of THC, 5 milligrams of CBN, and 2 milligrams of melatonin. It'll make you really, really sleep.
And don't take, just because I learned about this, okay? I'm not a fan of the melatonin in these products because I do believe you can create the effect with the minor cannabinoids.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely.
And by the way, if it works, I'm all for it.
And it absolutely works, and that's why we did it.
So weight loss and sleep are still the two biggest factors that Big Pharma is looking for. We don't want to use Big Pharma as an example. However, it's like the big brother looking over your shoulder. Am I right? Because no one in this industry knows what's going to happen in the next few months with the rescheduling, descheduling, new Congress, new leadership. We're in an unknown territory again, aren't we?
Yeah, no, absolutely. We kind of are living in our own little bubble in this industry, and we just we got to abide by the regulations they put in front of us, and try to do what we can to make the best products we can. So.
And everybody I talk to in this industry has that same message, okay? It's like, can you just give us the rules so that we can abide by those rules within those parameters? It's actually what every parent in America and the world has to do with their children, is to set boundaries. And it's one of the reasons why there's a conflict between parents and children. Are you a parent?
I am. Yeah.
Go, 1, 2, how many kids?
I have
boys?
two kids, a girl and a boy.
And how old?
My daughter is almost 3, and my son is a year and a half.
Oh, there's a superstar in your life besides you at the trade show. Am I right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Anyway, consistency of testing in edibles has always been a first question for me, especially in the beginning of my experience, if you will, with actually properly made products.
Yep.
Okay, the testing still is an issue. You're in Colorado, New Mexico. You have to deal with different state regulations. What's the toughest state out there for regulations? Because I have certainly some knowledge about what it's like in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
But I don't really know how tough those regulations are in Colorado, New Mexico, the other states you're in. Have you guys, you have a formula that you figured out that you can replicate, right?
Yep.
Okay, good.
So, I was going to say, all of our products, we have a process and products that they're the same in every state. So the regulations state to state are all different. So there are different requirements and different tests, but they pass all the tests regardless. So it's not like, oh, it's going to pass this test in Colorado, but there's a test in Nevada that it wouldn't, or something. They all are testing for potency. There's homogeneity tests, you got microbials, metals, pesticides, all these things. And so I would say the hardest regulations, the one that is the most strict, I think, that of the market we're in right now, I believe, is probably Nevada, only because there's not as many licenses, and so they're much more, I should say, on top of making sure that everything is up to snuff. In fact, everything's approved ahead of time. All packaging changes, everything has to be approved before you use it, as opposed to like in Colorado and New Mexico and stuff. You're just, you still have to abide by regulations and warning statements and things like this, but the packaging and the products don't have to be approved before you make them. You have to make them, and then they regulate them from there. So Nevada, it just has that one extra step, as opposed to all the other states we're in. And so, all the states have testing requirements and everything, so it's not like any products are hitting the shelves without being fully tested. But
licensed products as opposed to the hemp side of things. Yep. And I would like to discuss that with you if you're okay with that.
Yep, absolutely.
Do you believe there should be one regulatory body for the plant? Tough question, but it's an important one for everybody to understand.
I just, I don't know, because it's a hard question, because who would be the regulatory body? And so with hemp being non-regulated and with it being a more widely available product, I feel like it would be tough. But I will say, when it comes to the effects of some of these cannabinoids and things you can get from hemp, you talk about like Delta 8 and stuff like this. It's tough to feel like it shouldn't be regulated, because it has psychoactive effects for sure.
Yes, it does.
And so
even if it doesn't have THC in it, CBD has psychoactive effects. It doesn't have intoxicating effects.
Right, exactly. And so I guess...
And yet humans have figured out the loophole to get high from hot hemp. I get it.
Oh, yeah. And there, listen, the technology exists to be able to get high from hemp and all convert now CBD to THC and all kinds of stuff. It exists. It's out there. So, I mean, they're going to have to find a way to regulate it. Now, whether it should be one governing body, I honestly couldn't tell. I mean, if I had to say yes or no, I'd probably say no, only because I don't know who that would be.
You don't have trust in the leadership.
Well,
you buy into the concept, but the leadership, you're still a little skeptical.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that. Yeah, there you go.
I'm glad I'm here to help you out, Con.
Yeah.
You've been a great host. I really appreciate what you do.
Hey,
and keep it going. Bonanza Cannabis, great Western show back in the day when I was young enough. And now a great cannabis product. All right, we're going to have more from the Cannabis Coast to Coast News special report on the floor of MJBizCon after this.
Yeah, it's a great question because cannabis is very exciting. It's almost like, mom and pop drugstores. You could start whatever you wanted. You could be pretty successful. And then there are the business people who see the revenue potential. And those are the ones that I think that are going to become the buyers going forward. And then smaller companies will be the sellers. And then there'll be another group of like, what the heck happened? And there'll probably be some craft survivors as well. But I think, the access to capital in business, this is becoming a mature business, just like craft beer or the car industry from, the 1910s to today. Yeah, I think Schedule 3 will have radical changes. I think we're going to see consolidation in the space independent of Schedule 3. Schedule 3 will influence the flavor of the consolidation, but it's going to happen no matter what.
Will that open up more capital?
It'll open up more capital, more access. One way or another, as the industry consolidates, they're going to have to get access to capital. The buyers will, and that's going to change the markets fundamentally.
Hello.
All right, you guys. Welcome to the show. Got Jimmy here. How's it going, Jimmy?
Hey, this is really live, right? That's the idea.
There's another.
There's Matthew.
Hey, everybody.
Matthew, good to see you in 3D last week, or was it only a few days ago? The beautifully talented Tina Tasaka is with us as well. Are you always dressed up? It always looks like you're going to a formal or a theater or something like that, or a show. Is that accurate?
I am a Vegas girl. What can I say? Listen, we dazzle up in Vegas. And, I just got back from Las Vegas and it's still not out of my DNA.
There you go. No, it's great. And so I guess being the responsible talk show host that I try to play once in a while. Tina, what were your impressions of MJ Biz this year?
I have a lot of impressions, but I have to say that on a scale from 1 to 10, this MJBizCon was a 10 for me, for sure.
Good.
It was a 10.
Be gentle. Good. Matthew,
Yeah,
what was your impressions
it was
of? Oh, sorry, Tina. I thought you were wrapped.
Well, we're going to talk some more, so I'll cut it at that. I'll say that much right now.
Okay. Go ahead, Matthew.
No, man, I had a great time. I'm excited for next year to put my press pass to a little better use.
Yeah. And speaking of which, can we give a round of applause to Eric Williamson, who not only put in, an 80-hour week with heavy lifting, I might add. Okay. And
some of that.
Yeah. And you're still back at it on Monday. I know you've been editing all day. I've been editing all day. And we do have a final section of the, we can give him a round of applause. Good job, Eric. We love you, man. We love Bam Bam, man.
Hey, quick question. How do I chat with the folks on the right here?
You just go ahead and interact by talking to them, or I think you can text right back to them.
Oh, okay. I can just say, "Hey, what's up, Miggy?" And then Miggy
Right.
will be like,
We love Mickey, huh?
There
Wasn't
we
it
go.
great?
Hey.
I was very honest on my reporting that I got such a kick out of seeing people in 3D for the first time, especially the news team that we have here, because Eric, I had no idea you were that short. I thought you were like 6'8". You know what I mean? You have a massive presence on Zoom, and then you were normal.
Yeah. Thanks,
He-
Miggy.
He's not Shaquille O'Neal.
He's lost Shaquille O'Neal, yeah. Size 23, by the way, his shoe. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
So we've talked a little bit about the impressions. Tina, did you get to go to any of the sessions, any of the breakout sessions?
I did not.
What against you?
I did not. I went to a lot of off-prem events, and I would like to bring that up, just to, just out of interest, just talk through, off-prem events versus staying at the convention center and going to the events, pros, cons. There was a lot going on outside of the convention center, and it was really hard to miss those activities as well. I was real torn. Do I stay at the convention center all day long, or do I go and participate in these events that are just as impactful, and they're going to be chock full of industry people that I want to meet and I want to be part of this? So I was real torn. So no, I did not attend those sessions.
But I still got to see a whole bunch of people both at the conference, and I think I only went to one party, the Grasslands party, which was great. But it's I'm not there to party anymore. I'm actually there to network and actually see my news team for the first time in 3D, and I accomplished that, and it was great to see everyone doing that. And I did get to meet some key players in the industry. I thought that Josh Kesselman from Raw was very impressive. Amy Carter was able to interview him, and actually she was the first one to tell me about him. So I want to give her credit for that. And I'm trying to think who else. I saw the Beard Brothers. I got to hang out with them for a few minutes at the Planet Perfect. Did anybody in this show go to Dazed besides me? Did anybody go to a social? Now, Tina, I know you go.
Yeah, we tried.
Well, I went to all three.
Which all three, Tina?
Well, there's only 3 consumption lounges in Las Vegas, and I attended all 3. Actually, all 3 had events, and all 3 of the events I needed to attend. I needed to be at all 3, and are outstanding. I mean, they were very heavily attended, and they had industry people from coast to coast attending them. So one of them was at Smoke and Mirrors, and it was the Viva Lux Vegas, and it was bagels and cream cheese and salmon, and it was a Jewish slant.
That's Jordan. That was Jordan Eisenstack's event. That was from Marino. Jordan Eisenstack.
Yeah. It was,
I reached out to him. He said I was welcome. I completely forgot about it, to be honest with you. So it doesn't surprise anybody who knows me. So wait, it's New Woo, Smoke and Mirrors, and Days. Those are the 3?
Correct, sir. Yes, sir. Yep. Those are the 3.
And I did get to go to Days.
All 3 of them had outstanding events. I mean, they just did. I mean, it was so, like I said, I was real torn. Do I go to these offsite events and network with amazing people from the industry, or do I stay on site at the convention center? And being that I'm, work with the consumption lounges, I was real torn, but they were outstanding events, and it wasn't just necessarily to party. I mean, they were really outstanding networking events with people from all over the globe, checking out the consumption lounges for the very first time. There were definitely events going on at these lounges for sure.
Hey, look who's with us, ladies and gentlemen. I think I see a really good friend of ours. It's Debbie Facey from Canada.
Hello.
I'm so glad you got home.
Can we not talk about that? Can we just not talk about the Canadian going home from America? Because it was.
Want to leave, did you? No.
Oh no, not at all. No. No, it was, you know what? It was, yeah, no, it wasn't a great ride home, but it was a great trip.
Right.
So I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. And
I got to meet Eric
yeah,
and Miss Tina, which is unfortunate,
easy.
but it was okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Debbie, you also had an experience that I'm actually very interested. You sent me about a 15-second video clip from your dispensary tour that you went on Wednesday. And
Yes.
I'm really intrigued with that. And now that I've kind of hit the deadline, because there is another section coming up from this show, including my virgin voyage to a cannabis social club. Okay. And I think everyone on the team would be proud of my performance there, because I stopped counting after 13 dabs and I was still able to do an interview. You will see that interview, by the way. It's recording, it's moving, it's doing its thing. Eric's doing it up, whatever he has to do. But that is as we say, in the can and ready to be published, probably in just a little while. I think that
You're very proud of that.
I'm very proud that I live to tell the story. I will tell you though, this is the most my voice has worked in a few days, because it's really, when you go to a trade show and you start talking to people and then you're on your feet all day, it just zaps the energy right out of you. And Eric, no disrespect, but you did most of your work on your ass, didn't you?
Yes. Rump shaker. Rump shaker. Hey, Matthew, what was your highlight?
Oh man, I was there mostly for Associations Day on Tuesday. So I'm on the board of the Cannabis Alliance. We're Washington's largest and most effective cannabis trade group. So we were there Tuesday. We had a booth set up, hanging out and networking with other associations from around the country. So yeah, that was my spot.
I got a question for my two trade association people here. Matt, you're one of them, and Eric, you're the other one with MITA. How many are there, and is it state specific? There are national ones, there are state ones. Wait, there's more. There's the Colorado Cannabis Business Chamber of Commerce that Xavier Jallet is involved with. So are they still viable? I know here in Massachusetts, there's been a little bit, I want to be careful what I say here. Let's just say 4 or 5 years into the adult use world in Massachusetts, there seems to be some clicks and some finger pointing, and everybody, by the way, if you're in the Northeast, everybody has an opinion about everything. Okay. And I'm used to that because I've never left the Northeast except when I go visit Vegas or New Orleans or DC or wherever else I've been in the world, Pebble Beach. Anyway, so I guess the question I have, is it healthy? Are you getting memberships? Are people still signing up? Are people inquiring about what you get for that membership? Tell me more, Matt.
Yeah, we're still seeing decent increase in memberships. We never have had a real big involvement from retail licensees in the state, oddly enough. There were a couple different trade groups in the state here in Washington. There's really now only one other one that's actually functioning and has memberships. But yeah, I would say there's probably, 60 other tables, maybe 100 tables set up in the room.
What are trade groups? Like, what are?
So our trade group, we deal with legislation and regulation, right? So our mission statement is that we're dedicated to the advancement of a vital, ethical, equitable, and sustainable cannabis industry. So we try to do things that are good for the entire industry. Our biggest win recently was that we got the state to remove the 37.5% excise tax off of medical cannabis products when purchased by registered medical cannabis patients.
So an association based, sorry to interrupt. So association, basically, you guys are part of the regulating hopefully like the regulating of the laws that are going to be implemented within your state.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, we have membership that is made up of other licensees, ancillary businesses, so packaging companies, traceability companies, health insurance companies that want access to employees in the cannabis industry. We've got patients, we've got bud tenders, regular, veterans, normal everyday consumers, that type of thing. So our membership kind of drives the main focus of our legislative agenda every year. So we take a poll around this time of year to find out what people want us to work on.
Okay.
Internally, we've got things that we want to try to deal with because our state session starts in January, I think. And so we've got about 4 months to try to get new laws passed in Washington. So
almost like a harvest.
Our state legislature only operates from January to April during the long session and January to February during the short session. So alternates every year. This year we've got a long session coming in. So most of what we do is just kind of putting out fires that the LCB creates. So
okay.
Liquor and Cannabis Board.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, because for us we have like the OCS and then we have like the Health Canada. Right. So Health Canada is the one like the big top, but then the OCS is like the association that takes, I guess, a whole of everything. Sure. So I didn't know like every state. Well, no, actually, I should take that back because it wouldn't make sense that every state would have their own. But yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are nationwide. Down here, every state has their own. Each state that is legalized or has a regulated market. The fun police. Yeah, nice biggie. Every state that has a regulated market, has a regulatory board, right? So Washington, we've got the LCB. I think down in Oregon, they've got the Oregon Liquor and Cannabis Control. California's got a whole bunch of them because, LA County has more people than Washington and Oregon combined, and that's just in California. So California's a whole nother bag. But
wow.
And to answer your other question, Jimmy, the NCIA was there, so the National Cannabis Industry Association. There is a new group that's forming. I think they're being referred to as maybe the Allied Trade Association, and so that's basically our executive director is involved in that, and she's essentially, what they're working on is trying to get basically leadership from the major trade groups in each state to come together to be able to present a unified voice to the federal government. So it kind of came out of a work group that was happening at the NCIA, but it's moved out. It's moved out of their purview at this point.
Yeah, I ran into Aaron Smith at the event too. Aaron had just come back from that DEA hearing on Monday, and I really wanted to get a soundbite from him, but there's one thing I've noticed about these trade shows, and some of you have been to many and some have not. As soon as you're done, you're out. A lot of people are out of there. They really make their appearance. They come in, they fly out, and it's an interesting dynamic because Tina, you gave a great kind of report and observation about the different events that are going on around the conference, not necessarily at the conference, and that is something I did learn a couple of years ago, and I do see the advantages to that in many ways because everybody who's anybody was there. I mean, I did see Steve and Andrew D'Angelo. I did see Aaron Smith, the executive director of the NCAA. I did see our pal, Mary Jane Oatman, Tina from the Tribal Nations. I did see Rochelle Gordon and the Beard brothers there. So, I mean, I did see a lot of the main players in the media space and in the activist space there. And I'm really glad that I was able to get back. I really am.
Short Pete's not being able to walk, and I felt pretty good despite the, 2 fake hips and a rebuilt shoulder, and more to come. Here's a development. I'm going to share. I think Eric, you knew this. I don't think maybe I did share it with Debbie. I don't know, guys. I don't know about you, but I can't even remember what day it is or what time it is, what time zone I'm in. I think I went to bed at 3:00 in the morning and woke up at 8 this morning. So
I'm still confused too.
Right.
I wish it would stop.
So as strange as this might be, some guy came up to me, recognized Pro Cannabis Media. I don't think he recognized me, but he recognized my name. Good thing we all wear name tags. He recognized Pro Cannabis Media, and he said, "Hey, you're that Jimmy Young guy?" And I said, "Yeah." And he says, and I could tell right away that he was not. United States was not his native country. Okay, he had an accent, and then I find out that he's actually doing a Spanish cannabis news report, and I got to tell you, peeps, we've been trying to do this now for 2 or 3 years. I see the value in it, and I think Osvaldo Olivas is going to be our Spanish correspondent, but also do a Spanish newscast either after all of the news is done. I don't think it makes sense to do it in the middle, but in addition to, or stay tuned to, or something like that, because he's doing one down on in Florida, and I think that's going to be a great thing for us in many ways. A few other people that I ran into too that I'm going to leave nameless at this point, but I really did try. One in particular is one of the most respected people in the industry, and it just so happens she's a female, because I think she'd be respected whether she was a male or a female. But in this case, she is female. But Jamie Pearson, who took Bang Nation edibles public back in the day in California, I ran into her 2 or 3 times, but we never got a chance to sit down and talk. So I know there'll be follow-up. How important is follow-up, you guys, to once you make your contacts and everything over the next day, week? I'm already starting to get some emails back from people that I did meet. How important is follow-up? Matt Friedlander, you're probably the biggest veteran of the group. Well, no disrespect, Eric. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, man. I mean, you got to do the follow-up quick, and you got to take good notes while you're there, because if you get 500 cards, it's hard to remember who the hell's who.
How about you got to remember where you put those cards?
Yeah, that's a big part of it too.
You think? And by the way, Debbie, I just want to say I really appreciate the fact that you left this beautiful suitcase for me, so I could take it back with me. Were you missing that at all?
Honestly, it was the worst experience trying to pack back to get here, because everything that I had received was it was heartbreaking. I think Jimmy saw the tears roll down my eyes as I walked out of that room and said bye, but we're buying the stuff, which is going to be great in the following weeks when, we figure out something fantastic with that. But no, I did mean to leave that.
You did or did not?
I did.
Hey, I'm going to chime in. Debbie, I told you, hey, I got a truck. You got leftovers. Let me have them. Remember?
Listen, I couldn't find you. I could not find anywhere. I couldn't find the booth. I couldn't find the booth. I couldn't find the exit. I couldn't find the green part. I couldn't find the door, the way out in. It was like the minute you got in there, you had to somehow remember where you started, but you should have put a string there and then went through.
Just said, I'm looking for Eric Williamson. Where is he at? And they go, yeah, he's over there.
He's at the pavilion. Eric, did you ever leave the pavilion?
How do you even know what the pavilion is?
I never left my spot for 3 days. 3 days.
So I was looking to say, I didn't even get to meet Matt or Tina, and we were there.
You have to stay in the same spot.
Well, let's
just stand there.
I don't want to throw somebody under the bridge, but our Texas correspondent, let's just leave it at that. Okay. I think she was one of those who flew in for the event and then flew out. Now, I understand as a mother, you always have a viable excuse. But I really wanted to meet Lisa Williams. I really did. And I couldn't believe it. I went up to look for her and she was gone. And I was like, and I texted her. I said, "Are you already gone?" She goes, "Oh yeah, I'm on the way to the airport." Same thing happened with Aaron Smith. So, as someone, I get distracted very easily. Did you know that, Eric? Did you know that about me?
Oh yeah.
And trade shows, there's always a distraction. It's dangerous in many ways.
Hold on, Tina. What's your story on your business cards? Because Matt said you pick up a lot of them.
Ooh, I give Tina my business
He
card.
picked up a lot of my business cards.
Yeah. Did you?
What do you
No,
mean?
I
He
was
picked up a lot
saying
of my
you just
business
you
cards.
get a lot of business at the event.
Yeah. Well, I misplaced the pile and freaked out a little bit today,
Well,
especially when I'm writing. Well, I need them to make sure I spell the names of the people I interviewed correctly. And there was all day deadline pressure. And but Eric, we got it done. You've got 4 segments. I'm sure that I'll be doing some tweaking, and we'll rerun this thing, or we'll rerun the whole thing on our main channel so that we can get all of our subscribers to know all about it. But if there are people out there who have not subscribed to the Pro Cannabis Media YouTube channel, I didn't check the if I could see across the way, I could probably tell you how many. We're still a little shy of 15,000, 120 maybe, of 15,000 subscribers. And I'd really like to see if we can get over that 15,000 threshold. And I really hope that people will subscribe to our content on YouTube, because as you guys know, I'm not a big fan of the other social media platforms out there. So I appreciate that. Does anybody have any final thoughts they want to have? Eric, are we pretty much ready to roll the final segment?
Yeah, what's going to happen is I got to play some little tricks on your eyes, so things are going to be moving in front of your face. But don't worry, the video is going to come back to life.
All right. Thank you, Eric. Wait, can I make one more? I have a list of thank yous. The first one is
Can I have one final thought before you do say thank you? Because I know you're not going to be able to stop. So I just really want to just jump in.
I love
and
how
honestly,
everybody knows me so well.
Like,
now that was prophecy right there. You can't stop.
I love it, but like I just wanted to say, like, overall, I want to say thank you from the Canadian that's on the team for a very cool, interesting, foretelling experience. Even if I didn't get to meet the whole entire team. And I think that was the one thing that was kind of cool, was that we were all there at different times and for different reasons. And we all have multiple now stories and different things that we're going to be able to share, especially with all of our viewers. But I really did want to just say overall thank you from this lonely Canadian.
You're good. You're a good kid, Debbie. And I also really appreciate the stash that you left behind too. Okay, let's just say.
Hey, I have mine too. I mean, no, I don't. No, I don't.
Yeah, no, you don't.
No, I don't.
Bring any product. Hello.
They got mad over. They actually got mad over the wall. They thought I had bricks inside my bag, but it was the magazines. And then she kept asking me if I had liquid, and I said no. But then she kept saying yes, and then she took out a water bottle, and I was like, "Whoa!
Well, they don't like
why did I leave all that stuff? I know, but I could have brought everything. No, I could not have. Don't bring anything. Don't travel with anything ever."
Right. And as someone who stayed in the continental United States, I certainly appreciate the leaving behind of your various stash.
Oh, and one last point. Don't stay at the Arizona Charlie's if you ever are visiting there, because Ubers don't pick us up. The Uber that picked me up to the airport told me they refuse trips. I'm like, what?
I had no problem with any Uber that I was taking back and forth from Arizona Charlie's. Okay, never.
I walked into her.
Except for the one the two of us were in. And by the way, the full interview with me and Debbie will also be released in its entirety, independently of everything else, because it was just fun. It was just a fun time and a fun interview. And I thank you. All right, now can I do my thank yous, Eric?
Yes.
All right, the most important one really is for the Maverick PR team out of Denver, Shauna Selden McGregor. Every single one of those people was outstanding to talk to, and I look forward to working with them in the future. Oh, there's this guy named Eric Williamson that I want to thank too, because, I'd be lost without you, man. And I have said that to many people many times, but I actually think the two of us are going to somehow or other survive for a long time. So
Yes, sir.
I appreciate that. Emily Lewis, who's the senior VP of MJBizCon, I saw her on Tuesday, and then she just disappeared during the show. I can't imagine putting on an event that size and having to be not necessarily responsible, but to have an idea of everything and where it's going and who's where and when. I mean, it's just incredible what they do. I did see the editor of MJ Biz Daily, Omar Sachirbe, who lives in Boston. I want to thank him. Tess Woods, who, by the way, Tess, we gave you a couple of shouts out on the various interviews and videos that we just did. And you gave me a news story, and you weren't able to actually let me follow up on it. Tess Woods, the PR and the person who's in head of the media center, has been at every one of the MJBizCons, 13. And I really just wanted to get a reaction from that. And she knew I wanted to talk to her on camera. She was nowhere to be found on Friday afternoon. So, but we still love her, and I so appreciate everything she did for us as well. A couple of other interviews that we did not add into the first wave of content for this show. It was a full interview with Dana Shockett from O2 Vapes. She runs an amazing company, and as a veteran, a Navy veteran, she has a great little product going too. And they had the booth was like the first booth that you get to when you come into the show. So obviously, anybody know who Christian Campbell is? I bet you know who Kristen Bell is. Eric, Matt. Anyway,
yeah.
Christian Campbell is an actor and also a producer of Reefer Madness, the theater, the play. And I did get a chance to sit down with him. And after a few technical oopses, Eric, we actually did get that interview done. And we'll have that. We're going to release all this stuff over the next few days on our LinkedIn and our YouTube channels. And yeah. Oh, and you know what else? You guys know what's my favorite? I can't even call it a hobby. Besides weed, what's my passion?
More weed.
Sports.
Who said sports? Thank you, Debbie. God, come on. Debbie knows me. Anyway, yes. So
She talked about it a lot. We were together a lot.
So they had a great panel of Ricky Williams, Al Harrington, Eugene Monroe. I think it's Gretchen Gaines. I think that's who it was. And I'm sure I'm missing one person, Al Harrington. And I have a good, at least 30 minutes of that panel that I'm going to actually log the interviews, log what they said, so I can cut it up so we have the best stuff. And I will be sharing that with the public over the next few days too. But I really enjoyed that particular session. And I even got a cutaway of Steve D'Angelo in the audience. And I think that tells us something, that he was listening to what they were saying as well. So anyway, I'm done with my thank yous. I thank everybody who follows us and likes and shares us. And I really appreciate the support that I get from my team. We probably should give a shout out to both Terry Palma, our app guy, and Karen Black, who did take ill, but is feeling better. And we hope she'll be able to make it to the staff meeting tomorrow for another debrief. So anything else, Eric? Are we good?
No, I got Matthew. Matthew, you got any shout outs?
Not off the top of my head. Shout out to you guys for getting me into the show, and appreciate it. Yeah.
No, we appreciate you, Matt. We really do. And I love it. I got to tell you, I think I said this to Debbie. I treat, maybe not Matthew, because it's a little odd for me to be his father. Okay. I mean, I'm old, but I'm, everybody that I work with that gives us their time and their insight on what's going on in their state. I treat you all like you are family. That's the way I look at it. And I by the way, I watch Chicago Fire. If that station house can be a family, we can be a family. So I appreciate all the time and everything we do. And yes, we will have a fresh news show for next Monday, December 16th. And the next week, the 23rd, and Eric, we're going to get to start talking about this. We'll have a live year-ender for all of our correspondents on a Monday night, similar to this. So really and truly, the last news show of the year, the traditional Cannabis Coast to Coast news show that was born We Talk News, will be December 23rd. Is that Monday? Anybody?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. I know that.
All right,
day.
Tina's turn.
All right, Tina, you go, girl. Thank you. Just say thank you, Tina.
Not sure how good my connection is here. I'm
It's a little wonky.
not sure how good my connection is. I
That's
just
fine.
wanted to say that
You're
I
good.
just thought, yeah, the connections. So
Yep.
everybody have a great week.
We understand it. All right. Thank you for your insight on your market too. That was very helpful. I do appreciate it. And Debbie, thank you for putting up with me too.
Wow. No problem.
All right, guys.
But yeah.
Smoke them if you have them. Stay tuned. You'll see the old man's journey into the cannabis social club scene.
Sorry if I keep laughing at that because he loved that experience more than ever. And as an unhip man, as he kept calling himself, I have to say he handled himself very well retelling that story to me. So
And nobody can toke me under the table. I can be perfectly honest. Many people have tried, including the group I was with, and they were. I don't want to say they were amazed. I just didn't fall down. That's all. And then I was able to actually talk. Although if you do watch the interview, I'm interested to see if any of you pick up on, okay, Jimmy's really high or not, because I definitely lost my train of thought at one point in the interview. Only once, though, I think. So anyway, enjoy that, guys. Thank you all. Stay tuned. The rest of the MJBizCon review show is coming up next, and we'll see you all next week.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Stay tuned. I did want to do a quick shout out, Jimmy. Pure 5 Extraction, they gave me a lot of support at MJBiz, which can't do it without them. Mita, of course, Dimitri gave great support for the pavilion. He was open to let Tina do her own little clip there, which did you put that in the last block?
3 seconds.
All right, 3 seconds. So great. Thank Flicker Lighter for all their help in getting us set up. And
You're
one
echoing.
more is Proven Media. Proven Media was in behind the scenes, helped us get the things together and the people together so that we could have, I recorded almost 42 episodes.
Whoa.
That's a lot of content. So you guys get ready for that on the Media platform.
Yeah, and Eric, I think
Amazing,
I edited
absolutely
about
amazing.
90 minutes of content today. And I left out quite a bit. So it's going to be, we'll have more to come over the next couple of days.
All right. Stay tuned, you guys.
Thanks, Deb.
Yeah.
My connection is lost.
Okay, one says I do have it. The other says I don't.
Oh, well, we'll just stay here and act like we're still on. Did anybody see I took a hit on camera? That's a rarity.
I got that.
Okay. I'm tired. Okay.
As forever.
I'm tired. I'm cranky. I'm in pain. And I barely ate a chicken today. So,
Now you do sound like an old man.
yeah, thank you. Oh, no. When you're rolling. He's alive.
Welcome back to this week's Cannabis Coast to Coast News special report from the 13th annual MJBizCon conference in Las Vegas. I'm Elena Pinto. We have so much material from this past week's MJBiz convention and conference that we'll be releasing other interviews every day this week on our distribution network and our app. Our regular news show with Coast to Coast News team will return next Monday, the 16th at 9 a.m. Of course, you can gain access to our news next week by downloading our PCM TV app on the Google Play and App Store. Some of those interviews to still be published will include the CEO and former Navy veteran Dana Shockett for O2 Vape. She happened to be on the cover of Cannabis Tech Today this month. Jimmy also met Christian Campbell, who was the lead character in the satirical theater production of Reefer Madness in LA, and is now producing the play and preparing for a nationwide tour. Plus, Debbie Facey's road trip to a Vegas dispensary and many more videos. Making face-to-face connections is one of the things that MJBizCon Senior VP Emily Lewis explained was one of the most powerful reasons to attend this conference every year in Las Vegas. It was especially emotional for our own PCM TV founder, Jimmy Young. For years, he has been talking and meeting our reporters on Zoom, but enjoyed seeing everyone in 3D, IRL. Here's Jimmy with Matthew Friedlander from Washington State, Marianne Kersagi from Oregon, and Amy Carter at the Grasslands Party. Thomas Howard was there from Cannabis Legalization News and Illinois, and Tribal National follower Tina Tasaka was on the Meet stage and sharing her experiences. Amy Carter from Michigan met New England influencer Deb Cowgirl, aka Francesca Sayre. And then there was the adventures of our Canadian reporter, Debbie Facey, who was making her first trip to this country and to a U.S. dispensary. We'll have that story and more later this week. Debbie did admit she was a little overwhelmed with the whole scene in comparison to what she is used to in Canada. Here's Jimmy and Debbie as they reflect a bit.
Holy mackerel. 5 days of weed talk, weed schmoozing, weed parties. I'm way too old for this. Hi, everybody. I'm Jimmy Young, the founder of Cannabis Media and PCM TV. I'm joined here by one of our correspondents who's been here at the show. Her name's Debbie Facey. She's our Canadian correspondent. And let's just say Debbie doesn't leave the zip code or the area code that much, because this is her first excursion to Las Vegas, Nevada. And if anybody's ever been to the adult playground where, you know, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, Debbie, this has been quite an experience for you. I know we've talked about this. What are some of the things that you remember the most that kind of shocked you when you got to go to a local dispensary on the very first day we were here on a like an educational tour, right?
Oh. So we're going to talk from like not even from me landing and doing from that?
Oh, that's right. There is the landing and then actually running into her at her hotel, and she showed me how she adapted a bong. Yes. Why don't you walk me through? That was my first 3D impression of her, okay, just for the record, because we've worked together for years now, but we've never met in 3D. Okay, go ahead. You want to take it from the beginning?
Yeah.
So the first time you laid eyes on me, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. First time I laid eyes
Uh-oh.
on me. Oh my gosh. So it was actually pretty intense, but it was almost overwhelmingly fun because he walked into my room and saw a water bottle with a pen and a makeshift bowl, and I had told him that this was my bong and I'm smoking weed, and yes, how do you do that? And I'm like, I went to a dispensary already. This is probably within like the first 30 minutes of me landing. I was like, I need to smoke, and I had nothing to smoke with, but that was like my first intense American experience.
It was a flashback for me because I knew exactly what it was as soon as I saw it.
Yeah, it didn't look like the everyday bong that we see today. It was that makeshift almost. Right. Yeah, we shouldn't be doing it right now. I should know better, but I don't know better in that aspect because I needed to smoke. And I'm a bong smoker, and I'm sorry.
That's okay. She was desperate. She needed to find a glass bong. And I said, well, there's like thousands of them at the show. So, see if you could be patient for a few more hours.
I was not patient.
I was not patient. Hang on a second. She is very patient because she had to put up with me on an Uber ride. Now, granted, it was a shared Uber ride, which, by the way, was my first experience with an Uber share. So I wasn't quite sure what was going on when we started making stops. But more importantly, Debbie got the Jimmy Young high-maintenance characteristic experience.
And repetitive unhipness. No one should ever call themselves unhip, especially when you are with younger people, because then it makes them feel like you're with someone unhip, especially Jimmy. You're not unhip. You're just Jimmy. So I literally needed to tell him maybe 4 or 5 times just to stop using the word unhip. Stop using the word unhip. Even our Uber shared people were just like, unhip? I'm like, stop using unhip. But we got it. We got through it together.
Cannabis social clubs are just now starting to pop up in California, but the East Coast has been slow to figure out a model that will work for operators, regulators, and the public's consumers. As you might guess, the one city and state that has extensive experience dealing with adults at play is Las Vegas, Nevada. Now with close to 20 cannabis consumption lounges licensed and open, PCM TV founder Jimmy Young couldn't resist to check out the 24-hour, 7-day-a-week Planet 13, of course. It opened in 2021. Planet 13 is the largest cannabis dispensary in the world with 112,000 square feet of shopping space. There are dozens of windows available with bud tenders ready to help you decide which strain might fit your needs as an adult or a medical patient. And best of all, if you want to try some of the products, you might want to visit Dazed, the social consumption lounge that is attached to the store. You do have to reserve a table and step through the magic phone booth to gain access to the lounge that serves up a variety of products and strains and ways to consume them. So check out the menu of infused drinks, 1 gram pre-rolls for $25 or eighths for $60. Plus the device options for the titration or consumption of the products from a Puffco, electric dabber, or a variety of bongs. Luckily, Jimmy had a tour guide and a tester at our table.
Hi, my name is Joe Brennan. I'm with Columbus Botanical Depot in Columbus, Ohio, cbdhemphealth.com. Today I'm going to show you guys how to run the Zenco, which is dab equipment. We're here at Planet 13 in Las Vegas, so we are in the VIP lounge where we just got served anything we asked for off this menu. Let me show you how to work this thing. We got GMO live rosin hash. We're gonna put it on this little dab tool. We're gonna get enough on there. And then we're gonna stick it down in here. We're gonna push this button so it falls right off. And then we're gonna put the lid on. Then we're gonna put this cup right here. We're gonna hold the button. It's gonna fill this cup with vapor, with cannabis vapor from concentrate. As soon as it gets enough to how much you want to consume, you go ahead and pull it off there and you inhale like this. Wow, amazing. All right, Cody, try it out. The Zenco GMO dab. Woo! How was it?
So it really looks like you drank that. But because it's vapor, so I get the drinking part because it's vapor. I'm Jimmy Young, the founder of PCM TV at MJBizCon, and I am experiencing the first ever cannabis social lounge that I have attended in my 67 years on Earth. And here is Broderick Randall. Where's Broderick Randall from, you ask?
I am originally from Toledo, Ohio.
The Mud Hens.
Yay, do you know exactly? See?
Klinger, come on. This is what happens when you get old.
No, that's awesome. Salute and respect to the Mud Hens.
That's right.
But also, I'm currently residing in Columbus, Ohio, where I work and do sales for Benelieves. Yeah.
I think I recognize the name. I think I know that dispensary.
Do you? Oh, actually, we're standalone processing facility. So we sell to our dispensaries. We make products and then we sell them to dispensaries.
Oh, is there a product I might know about a little bit?
Yeah, and it actually might be reminiscent of a four-legged animal.
Woof, woof.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you did pretty
So he's
great.
talking about Yellow Labs, okay? And you have to understand, Andrew Wensberg is a personal friend. I think I represent his company in a lot of ways. I know that, and I love his product because I was a guinea pig for it 3 years ago.
Okay,
and it was in Berkshire Roots for a year or so, and then, but more importantly, he's in 40 dispensaries in Ohio. And Broderick, are you familiar with the product?
I absolutely am. The product is very unique, discreet, and something that the cannabis and wellness industry should take a look out for and on.
So it's a measured microdose delivery system of a tincture.
Yeah, I call it a less messy tincture. That's my
A less messy tincture. I appreciate that. But you know what? I can't believe it. Hey, what?
I got this.
You got, oh wait, we have to explain where we are. We said Social Consumption Lounge.
So, yeah.
It says P13.
Yep.
We're at the Planet 13 Cannabis Social Lounge, watching the Lions and the Packers play. So I dated it a little bit.
Yep.
Packers are up 28-24. We love the Lions.
Yep.
We love the Lions. Even though I'm from Boston, I love the Lions. And I want the Lions and Bills to play in the Super Bowl, so it'll be the most watched Super Bowl of all time because it's the two best stories. Well, you know that one has never won.
Either of those.
One of them's going to be the first-time winner. You catch my drift? It's a pretty good story, isn't it?
That is a very good story. You got me on that note. And to be honest, I support the Lions, but I'm genuinely an Eagles fan. I'm gonna be honest. So
you can be honest. Jeff Lurie is from Massachusetts.
Okay.
All right. And I'm pretty sure Jeff Lurie knows who I am because I work for the Crafts.
Oh, nice. The Kraft mac and cheese, like that.
Not the Kraft mac and cheese.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Now the Crafts that own the
Patriots. Exactly. My bad. My mistake.
And I'm a pro soccer guy.
Okay.
Well, I never played professional. Well, anyway, I played with professionals. Okay, I can say that.
Yeah.
All right. And college and high school and all that. And it's one of the reasons why I can't walk today. But we don't need to go there. All right. So I'm in the middle of Las Vegas at this convention. We made all these plans. People are sitting in different places. It's kind of weird getting in, but we came in. And not only do they have weed on the menu.
Yeah. I mean, they have weed. That you can consume and socially
They sell dabs.
Oh, not just Oh, they got all different forms.
Right.
They have all different forms.
It's a true tasting experience.
Yeah.
All right, everybody drink because you always have dry mouth, so you might as well drink. That's straight water. Okay.
Yeah, that's straight Kool-Aid.
Okay, so I think we're still rolling, and
we are.
but I think I'd like to give a shout out to Ander because I could not believe that the guys at the next table from where I'm sitting, okay, I see the Benny Leaves jacket. You want to show your jacket? He's going to show the jacket. All right, and I'm like, wait a second.
Ohioans out there.
He says Ohio, and I'm like, do you know that Yellow Labs is in 40 dispensaries in Ohio? And of course he goes, yeah, I know the product. What are the chances of that happening?
I mean, it's only divine, I guess. It's like, that's the only thing I can think of.
He gets it. You understand, it's always about the plant.
Yes.
The plant brings people together.
Yes, community, always.
It's and religion, it doesn't matter.
All walks of life.
I walk into a dispensary, and I know, first of all, everybody's half my age. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
And I know they're not going to know who I am or what I've done in 67 years, and there's some fun stuff in there. And then I start talking about Yellow Labs, and they're like, what are you talking about? And then they say, oh, that would be great. So you have people that come into your dispensary that don't want to smoke it, don't want to vape it. They had a bad experience with an edible.
Yep.
Hello. There's only tincture left or other milder, combinations of cannabinoids at the edible world and everything. And then everybody still likes pre-rolls and flower. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
And they only buy cannabis. Everybody does.
Right.
Percentage of THC.
Yeah, a lot of people, they kind of got to get a little bit more informed and be that educated consumers so that you're able to know that, hey, it's not all about THC percentage. It's actually about, the whole, chemical makeup and what, like he said, the other cannabinoids. It's a full spectrum plant, and it has a lot of
good buzzword,
beautiful properties. So,
any colors come to mind? Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Green.
Hey, I loved this. Thank you so much for hanging.
Hey, I would like to add one more thing though to feed off of what you said. As far as the product you were describing, you know how we were just saying we gotta kind of have a dry mouth. You can also use this product, Yellow Labs, to help curate that situation. Fix that dry mouth situation.
Here's the thing. No matter how long, there's so much new information out there now, and everybody's spinning information any which way they want. And people who know me know I produce a weekly national news report on the industry. And it's called Cannabis Coast to Coast News. It took us hours to come up with that title because we were doing it as another name, and we kept saying Cannabis Coast to Coast News. So we just said, okay, enough. Right. Anyway, this is why. And I'll admit, I'm under the influence. I'm under the influence, right? I can say that. All right. That's right. I am pro Cannabis Media practices pro cannabis because I've had 5 major surgeries in 26 years. And I have 2 fake hips. I have a rebuilt shoulder, and I think I'm going to lose my next shoulder. I can't believe I'm talking about my body. That's how you know I'm under the influence.
Well, no. If we want to be transparent and open, I was genetically born with sickle cell anemia. So, and my sister was too. You spoke on your shoulder, and actually, I've already had my right shoulder replaced, but my humor head. And then I'm worried a little bit about my left shoulder, sadly. But
I'll tell you what it's like, pal.
But yeah, no, I know what you meant. Like I have my humor head replaced, and because of necrosis, that's the word. I was
big word.
Yeah, but
doesn't sound good at all.
Nah, the lack of sickle cell anemia can cause
Hey, but you're here to tell a story.
I'm pro. Exactly. I'm here to tell a story. I'm pro cannabis because of cannabis has provided a much better quality of life and has changed my life. And make sure you go check out Between the Buds because we're all just buds growing and learning this plant, and all walks of life come together and like create stronger bonds and change. We could change the universe. They say one man can change the world. Maybe one plant can change the world.
It makes so much sense. I really, really expect at some point it's going to happen because there are people like you who are committed to the plant, committed to the cause, and we're all in it together. And it really does have a history of medicinal qualities. And it's really the first time we've been able to look at something that says, this is not as bad as we thought it was.
Exactly.
And all that was misinformation, and everybody knows how I feel about the plant. But anyway, I think we're going to wrap it up. I can't imagine that I'm going to have a better end to this special than we just created here. I got to thank Tess Woods.
I got to thank Dr. Bridget and all the courage.
I saw Dr. Bridget again tonight. That was great. She and I knew each other years ago.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I got to thank her and all the team, the Courage and Cannabis authors. Shout out to any sickle cell warriors out there. Keep fighting, stay strong. And, any cannabis supporters in MJBizCon, we're out here, legally, like you said, the same way we started this conversation, legally consuming.
And there's no alcohol on the table or in the building. That's right. That's right. And
all plants.
Right. You bet, man. Hey, Roderick Randall II.
Thank you, Jimmy.
We're going to be friends for life if you're comfortable with it.
Absolutely. Always. We're buds for life.
Wait till you hear. Anyway. That's going to do it. I want to thank Tess Woods and the entire MJBizCon. Emily Lewis. Do you know Emily?
I don't, but...
oh, my God. You're going to love... Okay, you're going to love... Okay. And thank you all. This has been a great experience. I'm glad that I was able to return because I remember it from 2019 and 2021. I'm so glad my mask is at home, and I hope everybody's healthy and wash your hands, please. At this point, if we learn anything, is wash your damn hands.
Wash your hands and
all right. We'll run some credits, and I just want to thank everybody who's contributed to this.
Peace out, y'all.
Peace out. One love.
One love.
One love.